Hey everybody, I don't know about you, but my family loves to eat fresh green beans. I love to grow bush beans because they are a short half-season crop that can provide multiple bountiful harvests in that short half season, which means that it gives me the space and time to grow a whole new crop like broccoli in the fall. I'm Allison and this is Puget Sound Garden Life, and today I'm going to talk about how to maximize your harvest from your bush bean plants, but also when to remove them so you can maximize the amount of time you have for a second or even third crop in that same growing space. These bush beans here are a Royal Burgundy bush bean. They are a 55-day crop, and I planted them in the first week of May. They should have been ready in about 8 weeks, according to the 55 days, but it was a pretty cold, wet spring around here, and it took them until the middle of July, which was 11 weeks, until I made my first harvest. Starting mid-July on week 11, I had one big harvest of bush beans per week for 3 weeks in a row. So week 11, 12, and 13. This is week 14 and there's not so many beans left on the bushes. So I'm going to harvest them today, see what I get, and then I'm going to probably remove these beans to get ready for my fall crop of brassicas that I'll grow in this space. I'll either be growing broccoli, cauliflower, or kohlrabi in this space because those are nitrogen loving plants, and these bush beans are nitrogen fixing plants, which means they're going to leave nitrogen in the soil. So I'm going to get this harvest started. Here's what I harvested from this. It's about a 6-foot length of bed that has 2 rows of beans. The last 3 weeks this bowl has been full of green beans. Well, these are actually purple, but they'll turn green if you cook them. And the beans this week, there's obviously way fewer, and the beans themselves are much smaller, ranging in size from maybe 2 to 3 inches, and I had one that was about 5 inches long. These are best when you pick them about 4 to 5 inches long. I'm going to give you a close-in look at what's left in the bush, just so you can get an idea of what it looks like in there when I think that the beans are ready to be removed, at least for my garden. For your garden, you may not be in much of a hurry to clear out this space, so these beans could have grown longer and they would have sized up more. And there are some flowers on here which you'll see that could produce some more beans. However, it's going to take longer and you're going to get fewer beans each harvest. Here's a look up close at the harvest. You can see this one, the beans were starting to swell up just a little bit, so we wouldn't want to get them any bigger. If I were planning on saving some of these seeds, which I really should, I would let them mature even larger than this so that they could dry out on the plant. However, I want to remove these plants and not leave them to mature to the seed stage. Looking at the plants up close, they still look healthy, and you can see there are still some green beans forming on them. However, the rate at which they're forming and the rate at which they're growing is much slower than it was at the first of the season. Once you dig around inside, you can see there are some flowers developing, but not as vigorously as they did early on in the season. There's a few more in there, and if you wanted to, you could let these continue to grow. But for me, I've decided that this is the time when they're ready to be removed so I can plant my new crop. When I remove these today, I'm going to be cutting the plant off at the base of the soil instead of removing the whole plant and the roots. The reason why I'm going to do that is because on the roots, there's little nitrogen fixing nodules that have absorbed nitrogen from the soil, and which originally came from the air to the soil to these roots in the green beans. That growing space that just opened up for me. I'm so excited to plant my broccoli, cauliflower, and kohlrabi in this space. Right now those seedling starts are in my garage under grow lights, sizing up and waiting till it cools down just a little bit here. If you're wondering what that crazy mess is next to me, those are my tomatillo plants. My next episode is going to be all about growing tomatillos for my very first time, what I learned, and the things, of course, I would do differently next year. Plus, I'll be harvesting those and making some roasted tomatillo salsa and making room for more fall crops in my garden. If you enjoyed watching this episode, feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can get alerted every time I make a new video. Thanks so much for watching this with me today. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you're motivated to get out there and grow food in your garden. Bye!